Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory and home of the Passamaquoddy. And I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have another card to share with you from the Latte Love Bundle and a little latte paper. And if you are a cafe fan, whether you like coffee or tea or matcha or steamers, hot chocolate, whatever, I think you'll really enjoy this bundle and this paper. I know I really love cafes. There's nothing more fun in my books than to go to a cafe and then sit there with a book or chat with a friend or type on my laptop or whatever, or write a letter. I just love cafes and the culture that goes with them. So today I'm going to show you how to make this card. It uses the dies and it's the cutest thing. You can make a French press and these little cappuccino cups. So I hope you really enjoy this project. So I just have a little bit of news to share with you first, and then we'll get right to it. Oh, hi, Kathy. I hope you like this bundle too. I think it's so much fun. So I'm just going to switch my view here, and we will get right to our projects. So before I get to showing you how to make this card, I wanted to point out this one. I did this one in my live last week. And my live is usually on Thursday, but this week I got switched to a Friday just because of personal commitments. But anyhow, if you look on my page, you can still find this one last week, so you can get the demo. And I also have on my website, which I've got right here, juliescraftaddict.com. I've got all the instructions for it, so you can either watch it in video form or read the instructions, whatever you like. And this also uses the Latte Love Bundle and a little latte paper, or DSP as we call it in the Stampin' Up! World, which stands for Designer Series Paper. So this particular card, I will send you the pieces to make this one with any order that you place with me this month. It could be signing up for a class, and I have a bunch of classes that are going to close on the 16th, that's Sunday. Or you could place a customer order with me for Stampin' Up! Stuff. And no matter what the amount is that you order, I'll be happy to send you absolutely free the pieces to make this card. And you just add the stamps, the ink, and the adhesives. But I'll have everything all ready and pre-cut for you. I just think this is the cutest paper, and I really like the stamp and dies as well. So that's that card. And then this one is the first in my series of 3 of a free class that I will send to anyone who places a customer order with me for Stampin' Up! Items in June of $60 or more before tax and shipping. Then I'll ship you this whole class absolutely free and send you the videos so you can also complete it on your own time and schedule. And I'll have all the pieces pre-cut ready to go for you as well. So you'll see kind of how it is here today as we put this card together. So let's get right to it. All right, so I like to start with stamping, and what I want to point out about this card is it's super simple stamping. This is the only stamping, so we are focusing on the dies today. So here is the stamp set called Latte Love. You can see there's a number of nice sentiments with it. Thanks so much is what we'll be using. There's also hello there, let's catch up. That's in the card of the month that I showed you. And then there's you're the best part of my day. This one's on me. All kinds of nice sentiments. And then all these pieces that you can stamp as well. So really nice. We're just going to go ahead and stamp this particular one. And then we'll be all done with our stamping for today. So if you are using these photopolymer stamps for the first time, and photopolymer is the kind you can see through. So if you're using it for the first time, you will want to condition it. You can just use your fingertips, or if you want a really good image from it, what you can do is use Versamark, this kind of watermark stamp pad that's sort of invisible. You use it for embossing and other things as well. But if you have one of those, you can just stamp right into it and then into your ink, and you'll get a much better image. So I will actually show you that right now. And we're going to use Lost Lagoon ink. So that's the ink we're going to use today. Okay, so here we go. And I'll open up the Versamark as well. And if you've watched my videos before, you might have heard me say this, but I visited the Stampin' Up! Factory where they make all their stamps. So they're all made in Utah. And that was last summer. And I asked what the coating was from the factory. That means we have to condition the stamps before we use them. And they told me it was dish soap. So that was a real relief because, well, dish soap isn't toxic or anything like that. So I was really happy to hear that that's all it is, dish soap. So that's how we get it off, as we condition the stamps before we use them. So let's see how that did for me. Yeah, see, that made a very nice image, right? So I would suggest when you have photopolymer stamps, especially if there's one like this that has a lot of solid stamping in it, see all that ink that you'd have to use in a row, I would suggest stamping them into your Versamark first and then stamp directly into the ink. Because the Versamark will help the ink adhere to the stamp. And even though I've used this stamp several times before, I found I still wasn't getting a good image without the Versamark, so that's why I used the Versamark there today. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp in my chamois here. And I love this chamois. Again, if you've seen my videos before, you know I'm a fan of these because it's this special foamy material to clean your stamps. You can stamp right into it. You can move them around. And all you do is put water on it, wring it out gently, and then you can get the ink off your stamps. And so it's a very good chemical-free way to clean your stamps, and I really like that. Okay, so let's close up our ink pad, and then we will move on to the rest of our card. So you'll see on my card here, I cut a little chevron shape there, and this is a super simple technique that I like because you don't have to have any dies or any special equipment other than your scissors. And I do recommend these paper snip scissors that come from Stampin' Up. I like them very much. They come with a little cover that you put them in as well. And I just find that they are just the right amount of sharpness. So you can make nice corners. They'll cut ribbon really well, and they also work really nice on curves. So I just really like these scissors. For the longest time, I didn't buy them because I thought I already have scissors, good craft scissors. What do I need those for? And then I tried these, and now I don't use anything else. My other craft scissors are good, but I like these a lot more, actually. Okay, so that's all I did then. I just cut into the middle with a line there, if you've never seen this before, and then angled and angled. Okay, so that's it for our sentiment. That's very simple. We can put away our paper snips. Again, those are called paper snips if you like those. And you can find all the supply items for today's project here on juliescraftaddict.com. There's a link to learn more right here in this post. Just click on that, and at the bottom of my post on my blog, you can find the whole list, including paper snips. If you don't have them and need some, just click on the picture that shows the paper snips. It'll open right up into my shop online, and you can order them straight away from there. Okay, so what do we want to do next? Well, I think since we got to assemble everything now, why don't we put the DSP, that is the Designer Series paper, onto the card mat here. So I've got a white card mat. So that's just basic white cardstock. And we are going to adhere our DSP, our paper, to that. And the paper is called a little latte. So here's one side of the paper. They're all double-sided. And you can cut out like these little mugs, which is really nice. You can make that paper go a long way. There's another pattern, and it all coordinates with the same colors. That's really cute. That's where I got this mug here, is I just cut it out, actually. I didn't even have to stamp it, just cut it right out of the paper. And then you've got coffee beans. Let's flip them over. And you've got this nice coffee sort of pattern. Here's one where you got coffee stains. You can see where I cut out the mugs on the other side. Here's another one with little coffee stains. This one is a very tiny pattern with little mugs and coffee beans and spoons. And then that's the one you see on the card today. So I made my original card with this pattern. I'm thinking maybe I'll turn it over and use the coffee beans today. That's the real benefit of these designer series papers. There's always another pattern on the other side. And I love that because then even if you make the same exact card twice, you can turn over the paper and make a different card. So it ends up looking quite different, even though it's just the same design. And everybody's different. So when you take my classes online, if you want to use the other side of the paper and make your project different, absolutely. You know, creative license. I think that's a really good thing. Okay, so we've got that on there. And why don't we go ahead and adhere that to our card base. Now this is a card base made from Lost Lagoon. So Lost Lagoon cardstock. And this is a bone folder. If you don't have one of these, it's the best thing. It just makes such a crisp fold, and you can use them when you're folding anything, actually, not just craft stuff. Okay, so let's take that, and we're going to use these dimensionals and put them on the back of the panel. So I always put one on each corner and then one in the middle. All right, let's take that. And if you're joining me today to watch, or watching on replay either, I'd love to hear what your favorite cafe beverage is. I think for me, my new favorite is a chai tea latte made with oat milk. The oat milk is just such a nice earthy flavor. It really plays nicely with the spices in the chai, and I love that. Although I like any drink, frankly, that you can get in a cafe. I think they're all very nice. Okay, so that's our beginning. Now what we're going to do is we're going to die cut all of these little items. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the circle makes 6 items to die cut. So let's move everything out of the way. And all I've done ahead of time is collected all these little scraps of paper. You can see that's a circle I didn't use for something once. And this one's not even straight, but it doesn't matter because all we're going to do is cut things out. So we're going to use the mini machine. And actually, if you don't have one of these mini machines, they're great for crafting on the go, like at the cottage or at a crop. And they are 10% off this month only. So it's a great time to buy one. The larger machine is also 10% off, so that's a good deal too. So here's how we use it. We place a plate number 1, then we have 2 plates number 2, you can see here, and we sandwich between them the paper and the die with the cutting side down. So let's grab that. So to do this circle, I used my favorite die set of all. This is the Stylish Shapes dies. And I used the largest circle. So we're going to cut out that circle. And I think we've got a little more room on our plate here. I'm just going to put this over so you can see it. So there's a little more room there. Why don't we cut out one of the cups too? I think we have space for that. So let's do that. And these dies are the ones that are in the Latte Love bundle. So you can see, I'll put it that way so you can see it. There's part of the French press. There's another part of the French press. There's multiple cups in here. Coffee maker there. There's a mug. There's a spoon, little coffee beans, all kinds of different little things in there to work with the stamp set. And like the French press, they work with the stamp set, but they're not part of the stamp set. So you can't stamp the French press, but you can make one this way. Okay, so let's take one of those little cups. We will put that there and we will run that through. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that back, put the plate number 2 on the top, and we'll put that through the machine. Okay, so here we go. So I do suggest when you're using this machine to stand so you can put pressure on the top. You can see my hand here putting pressure on the top to hold it down. And I find it works very well to do that. So here we go. And there's our circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. And here's our cup. So the cup you can see stuck there to the die. So I'm going to use this tool, which is called the Take Your Pick tool. It's got putty on one end and it's got a sharp end on the other. So we're going to poke in that little hole there, and that pulls it out from the die. So it just makes it that much easier. So there you go. So there's the cup. All right, let's do the other parts we need as well. So let's see, what else do we need to cut out here? So we've got that. And why don't we do the inside of the French press. So that's going to be done in cardstock that's called Early Espresso, very aptly named for our project today doing with coffee. So let's use that. And here is the die you're going to use for that. Oops, that's this one here. So we'll put that on. And why don't we do another cup while we're at it here? We'll do one in Lost Lagoon. There it is. And now we'll run those through. Oops, I think I misplaced my top piece here. Where did I put it? So I have a plate here someplace that I just put someplace. You ever have that happen when you're in the middle of crafting and the equipment you're using suddenly disappears? Ah, there it is. It's in the machine, that's why. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're gonna run that through right now. And I'll just move that back so you can see it come through the other side. Here we go. Okay. So that die, we're done with that. Here is our coffee, the interior of our coffee maker. And once again, we're going to poke out that little cup so that we can use it. So there you go. There's that cup. And we've got a little bit more to do. We've got 2 more pieces to put through. So now we're going to do the rest of our French press. So here's the outside of the French press. So we're going to put that right on there. And then we need to make 1 more of those cappuccino cups. And we're going to make it in Calypso Coral this time, which is a nice orangey color. And all of these colors are coming out of that designer series paper that we're using. So that's where I got the idea for using all these colors. I love that Stampin' Up's colors all coordinate. So if you buy a bundle and the paper that comes with it, everything will coordinate and you don't have to do a lot of guessing about color if color's not really your thing or if you're just not sure. So I find that to be a very helpful thing for a lot of people. All right, so let's get that out of there. Okay, that's the other cup. And we're going to do the same thing with our little French press here. Okay, so there's the French press. We've got that out. And I'll just discard these little bits. We'll put the cap back on the sharp end of my Take Your Pick tool. And we'll move our plates out of the way so that we can carry on with the rest of our project. Okay, so we'll just move those. All right, so now what we need to do is put together our French press, and then the rest of our card will come together very well for us. So if you want to look at the French press, you can see that it's in a certain part here. It's attached to only a certain part of the coffee below. So you can kind of play with it to see where you want that attached. So if you put it up there, obviously that's not going to work. If you put it down too far though, it covers the spout. So you don't want it really there either. So you want it, and you don't want it over too far because then it doesn't connect to the edge. So you just want to kind of play with that a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of here, on here, on here. So these 3 parts, and then on these bars that come down, because you don't want to glue this part or the top because that's going to be glue that's going to stick to everything except for where you want it to go, basically. So I'm going to use the fine tip of the multi-purpose liquid glue. Oh, you like the card? Oh, I'm glad, Kathy. Yeah, I really love this bundle. I just think it's so much fun to work with because I like coffee a lot. All right. So we're just gonna put some dots here. You can see I'm just putting tiny, tiny dots. Really less is more, I've discovered with glue. I know probably in school we all used glue a lot, and we probably put way too much glue. And maybe our teachers didn't even know that, you know, you didn't need that much. I don't know. Until I really got into paper crafting, I didn't really know how much glue, or how little glue, I should say, is needed on most things. And it's surprising how it will stick without very much glue. Whoops, I'm shifting it around there. Okay, so that's good. Let's get that on there and just wipe off the excess glue. And if you want to make sure it's good and stuck, just turn it over and press down on the back, and that should do it. Okay, so there is my little French press. Isn't that cute? I just think that's so cute. All right, so now we can put together the rest of the card. So here's our base, and if you're just joining me now, all I did to have this different paper than this one, it's the same paper actually. I just flipped it to the other side because it's double-sided, and this is the pattern on the opposite side. So let's see. We want to put on our circle first. So I am going to use dimensionals to do that. And really dimensionals to do most of the rest of the card here. So there's 1, 2, 3. That should hold it very securely. I find these are very, very good quality. So you don't need much really to hold it on nicely. So there's my white circle. Now I'm just going to arrange the elements here before I stick them on. I find that's always the best policy, at least for me, to see kind of where they'll go, and then I decide what I want to do with them. Because I'm not always sure exactly where I want things to go. So I think I want that way down in the bottom so that there'll be lots of room. How much room do we need for these cups? Yeah, so you want to arrange your sentiment as close to the bottom as you can, because then you have room to build these 3 cups that go up the side. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, but I'm not going to stick any of that down. What I am going to do is put some multi-purpose liquid glue on the back of my sentiment here, just a little bit. I don't need it very far, I just need this much of it. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the other end to stick it down. Okay, so here's my dimensional on the other end. So that's what I did, so that it all will pop up to the level of this circle, because we use dimensionals on that. All right, so let's see if we were successful with this. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. And the benefit of the multi-purpose liquid glue is you can kind of line it up and then move it around a bit to see if things are lined up the way you want. It'll easily move, whereas these other things, other kinds of glue don't move around so much. So it's a little more forgiving in that way. So let's stick on our little French press next. Okay, where do we want that? Something like this, maybe? That looks pretty good. All right. And then I started building my stack of cups at the top, it looks like. So let's see, what did I do here? So I had the handles going one way because I think I used the other die. So you can get them to go either way. So the handle goes this way or the handle goes that way, opposite directions. So you can cut them in opposite directions or just use the same one like I did, and then flip them over and use the other side. So that'll work too. It really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to place them on there. I'm just kind of angling them in opposite directions to see what's going to look good. All right, and then I'm going to use the mini dimensionals. So here's the comparison. Here's the regular dimensionals, here's the minis. I'm just going to use the minis to stick the cups on, because I just want them to kind of peek over the edge. So let's put that one there. And then I'm going to get a mini dimensional for the next cup. And we'll put that on next. And we'll angle it. So we angled the handle up. We're going to angle the handle up and to the opposite direction. So up and to the right on the first one, up and to the left on the second one, and we're going to go up and to the right again on the third one. Okay, just like that. So that looks very nice. And then we can go ahead and add our embellishments. That's the last piece. So I used these ones, and they are iridescent foil gems. So have a look at that. So they have this iridescent finish. You can see kind of some pinks and purples and greens in the camera. And they've got that beautiful bit of gold foil inside too. So these are really pretty and nice to use. And I'm going to show you the take your pick tool, because you use the putty end here to pick up the little teeny ones. So you just press down and move them, and you can pick them up with your take your pick tool, so that you don't have to do that with your fingers, because oftentimes that's really challenging. So we'll put that one there. I find it's easier to pick up the big ones though. So I'm going to put that one there, and I'll put another big one over here. Maybe I want them in the white space so we can see them a little more. I think I'm going to switch that. Okay. Just because I have a different pattern, so they're harder to see. There. Okay. So that is the end of this particular card. So thank you again for joining me today. Remember, you can get the class absolutely free. That includes all the pre-cut packets for these cards, this one and 2 more, plus my card of the month, when you spend $60 before tax and shipping on a customer order with me in June. And for any purchase with me in June of any amount, including class registration, I will send you my card of the month, and this is it right here. I will send the pieces so you can make it yourself. And for all of this, you get all of the paper pieces and the embellishments and any ribbons that are used on the cards, and you just add the stamps, the ink, and the adhesives. All right. Well, if you're going to a cafe today or on the weekend, I hope you have a wonderful time and have a wonderfully crafty weekend. Bye for now. See you next time.